Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. This is our Friday night Q&A question and answers class. It's the 4th of May, 2021. Later on, I'll be talking about why the West must keep Africa poor for it to survive. So I'm going to ask everybody to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Welcome and shalom, everybody. We're going to do our moment of silence, our prayer, songs, and current events. Okay. Almighty Lord, hail of our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and their upright descendants. You have made the heavens and the earth with all their systems, before whom all things shatter and tremble before your power. Lord, your majestic and glory, your majesty and glory is unbearable, and the anger of your threatening against sinners is unendurable. Immeasurable, unsearchable is the mercy of you promise, for you are the Lord of hosts, tender-hearted, long-suffering, and most merciful. For our sins are more numerous than the sands of the sea. Our transgressions are multiplied, Lord. They are multiplied. We are weighed down with many sins, so that we are unable to look up and see the heights of heaven. We honestly beseech you, Lord, and you will manifest your goodness toward us. For unworthy as we are, you will save us, and we will praise you continuously as long as I live. For all that the host of heaven sings your praise, and yours is the glory forever. Peace be unto you, Lord. Okay, so we're going to do a song. Psalms 27 says, it's a song of David. It's the Lord is my light and my salvation. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumble and fail. Though a host shall encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war shall arise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that I will seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, and behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. And now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. I will sing praises unto the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me, and answer me. When thou saidest, seek ye my face, my heart said unto thee, thy face, Lord, will I seek. Hide not thy face far from me. Put not thy servant away in anger. Thou hast been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me, O God of my salvation. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. Teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in the plain path because of my enemies. Deliver me not over unto the will of my enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, such as breathe without cruelty. I have fainted unless I have believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. That's Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. It's a song of David. Okay, with that being said, we're going to do some current events. Anybody got any current events? Okay. Got one right here, just pertaining to, like I said, they bombarding us with this Tulsa race massacre. So know there's something going on with it. So I'm going to read this right here. It says Tom Hanks says schools should teach the Tulsa Race Massacre and stop whitewashing the curriculum. It's crazy right here. All of a sudden. So it says, should our schools now teach the truth about Tulsa? Yes. And they should also stop the battle to whitewash curriculums to avoid discomfort for students. America's history is messy, but knowing that makes us a wiser and stronger people. Tom Hanks. Uh, that was Tom Hanks, the Academy Award winning actor who starred in historical fiction projects on the big and small screens such as Apollo 13, Saving Private Ryan, and Forrest Gump. So it says right here, Hank, 64, considered himself a history buff, but he reveals in the New York Times column published on Friday that he still don't know about the 1921 Tulsa Massacre until just last year. Ain't that something? See, he didn't know about the Tulsa Massacre until last year. They tell you the depth of their deceit. But for all my study, I never read a page of any school history book about how in 1921 a mob of white people burned down a place called Black Wall Street, killed as many as 300 of its black citizens, and displaced thousands of black Americans who lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He writes in a column that went viral on Twitter on Friday afternoon. See that? It went viral. They're setting us up. 100 years ago this week, an unsubstantiated assault claim made by a white woman against a black man, uh, claimed with simmering white jealousy over, combined with shimmering white jealousy over a prosperous black business district in Tulsa, Greenwood neighborhood, spurred a white mob to burn the area to the ground in over roughly 24 hours, beginning on May 31st, 1921. As many as 300 people were killed, and at least 1.47 million or more than 200 million in today's dollars of black-owned houses and businesses were destroyed. Okay, it says the Tulsa Race Massacre destroyed generations of black wealth. This descendant is seeking economic justice. Okay, read a little more. It says Tulsa Race Massacre wiped out a generation of black wealth, but it was largely swept under the rug. And in Oklahoma, the state public schools referred to it as Tulsa Race Riot. When it was brought up at all, the massacre largely wasn't discussed in its own state until a commission was formed in 1997 to investigate the violence, and a new state law could derail progress in teaching about the tragedy. The Wall Street Journal reports Republican Governor Kevin Stitt signed a law on May 7th that restricts public school teachers and employees from using lessons that make an individual feel discomfort, guilt, anguish, or any other form of psychological distress on account of his or her race or sex. So see what he's saying, right? He's saying that they don't want to make the white kids feel guilty because of what they can did. Okay, says Hanks argued in his column that white Americans, such as himself, need to lean into the discomfort in order to learn from the truth about Tulsa, and the repeated violence by some white Americans against black Americans was systematically ignored, perhaps because it was regarded as too honest, too painful a lesson for our young white ears, he continued. So our predominantly white schools didn't teach it. Our mass appeal works of historical fiction didn't enlighten us, and my chosen industry didn't take on the subject. In films and shows until recently. The streaming series Watchmen and Lovecraft Country, which are available on Netflix and HBO Max, are among the few that that have tackled the tragic events in their storyline. Okay, so in the comments, okay, here's another one. See what I'm doing. Okay, yeah, this is came on FedEx right here. Like I said, they're doing an overkill. They got something up. Let this play.
America has so many untold stories buried in history. About a year ago, I heard one of them from my friend Joe, who is a history teacher. And that story led me on a journey to the most rewarding and challenging project of my career. It transformed my life.
Yeah, she's 60-some years old. She never heard of Tulsa Race Ride. This song.
And it changed my relationship with my son. It was a story of the worst incidents of racial violence in this country, the Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921. Picture this. It is May 31st, 1921. Tulsa is the oil capital of the world. Train tracks run smack down the middle of the city. On one side are gleaming new office buildings, hotels, and opera house, all built by newly rich oilmen and developers, all white. On the other side of the tracks, just steps away, is Greenwood. Greenwood is an all-black district of about 11,000 people. It is incredibly entrepreneurial and affluent. There are hundreds of businesses here, a hospital, banks, a library, 2 newspapers, 20 churches. It is so successful that Booker T. Washington nicknames its business district Black Wall Street. In less than 24 hours, it will all be gone. Thousands of white Tulsans will burn it to the ground, murder at least 300 residents. When I heard this story, I was stunned. I minored in American history, and I am a journalist, and I had never heard of the Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921. So I did what any journalist would do. I flew to Tulsa, and I asked questions of the keepers of this story. And then I spent 6 weeks, day and night, writing a podcast series about it. Metaphorically, I lived in 1921, getting to know the heroes and the villains. I fell in love with so many of the characters, like B.C. Franklin, an attorney who fought for civil rights, and Lula Williams, the woman who built a 750-seat movie theater, the Dreamland Theater, and Bernice Sims. On May 31st, 1921, she is about to get her dream come true. She has been waiting for months for the high school prom. And she is about to get her new, beautiful blue satin evening dress on and a strand of pearls. And she is imagining dancing in the arms of her boyfriend. But Bernice Sims never makes it to the prom. Instead, she and her family flee Tulsa for their lives. Let me take you back a day and tell you what happened so that you can understand. It is May 30th, Memorial Day, middle of the afternoon. A 19-year-old man named Dick Rowland is in the downtown Tulsa office building, and he is about to step onto an elevator run by Sarah Page, who is white and 17. But he trips, and he steps on her foot. He touches her arm. She screams. Somewhere else in the building, a clerk hears her scream, and without seeing anything, he picks up the phone and he calls the police and he says, Dick Rowland just assaulted Sarah Page. The word assault in 1921 Tulsa means rape. Within a few hours, the headline on the white newspaper reads, Negro to be lynched in Tulsa tonight. The sheriff takes Dick Rowland into protective custody and puts him on the top floor of the courthouse. Down below the courthouse, in the courthouse square, by nightfall, an angry white mob is gathering, getting bigger and bigger. And some members of that mob, they have weapons in one hand and alcohol in the other. The police commissioner, fearing that he does not have enough police officers, makes a decision that will change the course of history, and he deputizes 500 members of this mob on the spot. On the other side of the train tracks, there's a small group of World War I veterans who decide no one will be lynched in Tulsa tonight. They fought overseas for freedom and dignity and respect, and they expect it here. So they cross those train tracks and they go to the courthouse and they offer their assistance to the sheriff. But there's an altercation and a gun goes off and someone is killed and all hell breaks loose. By the next morning, thousands of Tulsans from the white side of Tulsa invade Greenwood and they shoot anyone they see, man, woman, and child. And I am sorry to say that some of the people doing the shooting were children. They have rifles, and they have guns, and they have planes dropping flaming balls of turpentine from the air. It is 20 years before World War II, and this is the first time American citizens are bombed from the air. They drop bodies in the Arkansas River and they bury them in mass graves. Houses and buildings are looted. 1,200 buildings are burnt to the ground. After 16 hours, the Oklahoma National Guard finally arrives and they stop this madness. But then they round up every last remaining resident of Greenwood, and they march them to an internment camp set up at the fairgrounds. The only way out is if a white employer comes to get you. And after you do get out, you are forced to wear a little green tag that says who you are, where you live, and where you work. No one was ever prosecuted for this crime, and not a...
Yeah. I don't know about nobody else, but ain't this the same thing happened to the Asian Americans? They put them in internment camps, and then they came back last couple of years ago, and they gave all them reparations. I think some $40,000.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember that. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, this right here is enough to do reparations right here.
Single Greenwood resident ever received $1 of insurance money. Thousands of people never returned. This story shook me. It shook my world because it would shake anyone's world, but it particularly shook me because my teenage son, who I adopted at 6 weeks old, is Black. And after I learned this story, I realized that while I had thought I had understood his experience in the world, I hadn't, not at all. I hadn't believed him when, at 11 years old, he came to me and he said, Mom, a teacher said something racist. And I didn't totally understand what was happening when a police officer in the neighborhood asked him where he lived, but not his white friends. I wasn't naive. I told him not to bicycle through the alleys to get home at dusk, even though his white friends could. These racist incidents that my son was suffering are born from the same kinds of beliefs and dynamics and rhetoric that made Tulsa possible. After I learned about Tulsa, I had the privilege of apologizing to my son. I had understood intellectually what he was facing, but I still have a lot to learn. This history helped me understand it in my heart. After I apologized to him, I asked him, what would you want all of you to know? He said, I want them all to know how scared I am to live in the world every single day. And then I said, why does it matter if I understand this 100-year-old history? And he said, because now I finally feel heard. Exposing the secrets of our shared history can change the world, and it can change our relationships with each other. But secrets die hard. The Tulsa Race Massacre was hardly mentioned again for decades because white Tulsans had everything to hide, and survivors of Greenwood were traumatized. Even today, 99 years later, it is barely taught in Tulsa schools. It is not mandatory across the state of Oklahoma, never mind the rest of the country. And Tulsa was not an isolated incident. There were hundreds like it, called race riots, never correctly reported as massacres, and buried in history, just like Tulsa. Now you may be wondering, what happened to Dick Rowland, the man who tripped in the elevator? The sheriff spirited him out of town the morning of the invasion, and he was never heard from again. What about Venice Sims, who didn't make it to her prom? Well, in the year 2000, a group of students at Booker T. Washington High, which by now was half white and half black, heard what happened on the night of May 31st, and they did something remarkable. They invited her to their prom. She said yes. And she put on a beautiful blue evening gown, a strand of pearls, and at 95 years old, she finally went to the prom, where she looked around at this sea of black and white faces in all their finery dancing together. And she said, these students represent my hope for Tulsa. They are connected to the city's past. They honor its heritage, and they are committed to social change. So, how can we all expose the secrets of our shared history? If you are a creator, find and tell these stories in whatever medium is yours to use. Write the books, make the films, produce the podcast, paint the pictures, because when we lose these stories, yes, we lose the tragedies, but we lose the triumphs of the human spirit. In Greenwood, that meant beginning to rebuild. In Tulsa today, 99 years later, it means finally convincing the city to search for those mass graves, not as a scholarly exercise, but as a criminal investigation.
Okay. Anybody got any comments? It sounds like reparations to me. Anybody got any comments? I mean, you can't even turn on, you can't go on YouTube, and you can't go on to the television. They're not talking about this Tulsa race riot. And it's all over the place. So they setting up something. Okay, no comments. So you say, well, why are you showing me this? Well, like I said before, when you understand what's getting ready to happen, is the reason why I'm showing you this. So if they doing it on this end, for the longest, they kept us, they painted Africa as a dark continent, and all they showed us was images of little kids with big bellies and showing us huts and all that. They never showed us, the real Africa. And so they kept us divided. But now that they got this plan for the United States of Africa, and these bankers really ready to make a whole bunch of money, they see that they can make a bunch of money. Now they bringing these two entities back together, but it's all part of scripture too. So if we see what they're doing over here in America, well, they're doing the same thing over in Africa. So let me show you this right here, because the Africans can't handle too much money when you start talking about money. They always get caught up in it. So with them understanding what's getting to happen, I'll show you what's breaking out over there. Okay, when you start talking about Africa, those countries like Ghana and all them, the reason why where they at because of Pan-Africanism. I was telling you about that, Pan-Africanism. So Pan-Africanism means dealing with Africa, Africa's cultures, Africa gods, and returning back to our homeland, not understanding that the people that left Africa wasn't Africa, they're Israelites. But they have a spirit of Pan-Africanism all over America and over in Africa. So here we go right here. It's at the Parliament, Pan-African Parliament. They know what's getting ready to happen.
Once again, it's not a parliamentarian.
Yeah,
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. And I'm Alexander Green. And we are here outside.
I'm having problems over here with the weather.
Staff who contracted COVID-19. The parliamentarians are alive, they are well, they are in. Parmi nous ici, les élections auront lieu. On va pas accepter. Will take place. There's no reason whatsoever for us to postpone the elections. Thank you. Right, let's do this. Let us do this.
Mr. President.
Hello, let's do this. Hello.
Mr. President.
You see now. You see now.
Mr. President.
Oh my God.
Mr. President. No, you can't do this. You can't do. If you don't want sitting, I'm adjourning the house. I'm adjourning the house. Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
All right.
Hello, order. I'm adjourning the house now. Mr. President, you don't have to. I'm adjourning the house. You don't have to. No, Mr. President, I'm not going to give floor to people who cause confusion. No, there's nothing like that. No, I'm not going to give you the floor. There's nothing like that. I'm not going to give you the floor, please. Mr. President. Kone. No, look at your people. Look at what they are doing. Mr. Order in the house. Order, please. Point of information. Order, please. Order. Hello, madam, let's have order since yesterday, madam.
Oh my God.
Can you take your seat? But your behavior for parliamentarian is unfortunate. Anyway. Deputy.
There's an MP who's threatened to kill a colleague. There's an honorable member who's officially announced that he's going to assassinate his colleague after we leave this chamber. I am speaking. There's a member of parliament officially that is going to kill his friend. He's officially announced in plenary that he's going to kill his friend.
Pan-African
You're pointing
Parliament.
me with a finger now.
Wow.
Can you have order, Honorable? Can you have order?
They died in club. It was getting ready to happen. Okay. So that's just part of it. We're going to go in a little deeper.
Okay.
I've been rude like that, and you've been rude for too long, man. I'm speaking. Yes, sir. Hello, that is that's Julius Malema from South Africa. Proceed, Honorable Malema. Thank you very much. I don't think there is any difficulty here. We must all be inspired by the need to build this institution and not be driven by a desire to govern this institution from the grave. You are here to give a report, and that report will tell us as to what really transpired. We cannot, even before we get a report of where are we, where do we come from, what happened before, then be.
You should know this person right here. I don't know if anybody know him, but keep, you know him now. Keep your eye on him. Look how he look, everything.
Told that people must be dissolved without being taken through as to what transpired. The report you are about to present will tell us about the state of the Bureau. And on the basis of that report, then take a decision that you must all step down. So even if the term ended on the 9th of May, that is just being technical and being in an attempt to collapse these proceedings, which is uncalled for. So the Bureau's term has ended. We are going to elect the new leadership. What is this impatience about? He's acting. He never claimed to be a president of this institution. That's why he calls himself an acting president. He accepts that he's not the president of this institution. So we're not going to be bullied here by people who want to run this institution from the grave. Give the report, and after giving the report, outline what's going to happen to the election. The elections are going to happen. Whether they get dissolved now, whether they get dissolved on Monday, it's immaterial. We're going to elect new leadership here. Let them report. Thank you, Chair.
He ain't got no control.
I see an interest. Honorable Roger, can you allow others also to take the floor? No. He's not going to speak. You're not going to speak alone here, Roger. You're not going to do that. This is not your parliament. You're not going to do that.
Roger, you don't make yourself a parliament.
Mr. President. Thank you very much for the opportunity. You see, sorry, order. It is sad. It is very sad what we are doing to ourselves. It's very, very sad. Why am I saying this? Did our rules anticipate COVID? Did our rules anticipate that there could be a disaster that could hit the whole world and bring the whole world to a standstill? In every civilized society and every parliament, PAP not exception, when you find yourself in this situation, the person who is president uses his discretion to make sure that the institution keeps moving. If you say this is contrary, I want those who are saying the current bureau or acting bureau should be dissolved so that we'll have a vacuum to refer us to our rules that says that when this happens, have a blank and let the staff take over. We don't have anything like that in our rules. And I'll be very happy to be guided. Yes,
understand each other on this. Rotation is not relevant for this election. Rotation is not relevant. There are even countries that have not ratified the protocol. Once countries have all agreed and ratified,
Okay, Dr. Aracana was just talking the other day. We was listening to it. She said they're ready to receive the diaspora. Do it look like they're ready to receive the diaspora? So there's something going on with it. Like I was saying, they know something get ready to happen. They vibing. They vibing for just like they was at the Berlin conference. And they divided up Africa when the Europeans divided it up. So, something going on with that. So you say I'm gonna come back to that because I want to do this first, then I want to go to this other thing. But so with that being said, anybody got comments?
It seems like the Lord of Hosts is tapping every aspect of life, preparing things for us.
Right. So he got prophecies.
Mm-hmm.
That he even spoke about it, but because they didn't hoodwink our understanding on it, we don't understand that, we in the midst of prophecies and not understanding that.
Right. And more than likely, our logical minds, we can't even fathom how everything is going to pan out. But everything that's going on is within the plan of the Lord of Hosts and the Most High for His people.
Right.
It's
Right.
quite it's quite it's kind of hilarious to see those people acting like that, but then they're human.
Right.
And once again, the Lord of Hosts will have people, to fight among themselves in order to bring forth what He's doing for us.
Right. Right. It's been conveyed over and over again that Ham and Shem is two different people.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to make us think that we Africans, but we're not Africans.
Yes.
So with that being said, the reason why I'm going here first, I'm gonna come back to what I was doing, but I'm in Exodus chapter 7. It's just the beginning of the 10 plagues. And so what so many people look over is that the Israelites at that time, and understanding that the Creator and the Lord of Hosts, they changed not. The same way he delivered them out of Babylon, he delivered them out of Egypt. And it's the same way he's gonna deliver us out of here. So he says, so my point is, I'm in chapter 7, verse 1. It says, the Lord said unto Moses, see, I have made thee a God to Pharaoh. Nobody they don't find them. They don't register with a lot of people. So he sent Moses and he made Moses a God in the sight of the Pharaoh. Right? And Aaron, thy brother, shall be a prophet. Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh. And he said, and he sent the children of Israel out of the land. So, verse 3 says, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. So I told you how in the very beginning, the sun and the moon, everything he's doing, he operates on signs. So we're supposed to be paying attention to the signs. I'm showing you some of the signs. So and Israelites in Egypt, Hamites is in Egypt, the Israelites in Egypt. So they seeing all this. This was going on a lot of people's heads. So when you go, he told Moses in verse 7, he told Moses, Moses was fourscore, just Exodus 7 and verse 7. Moses was fourscore years old, Aaron fourscore 3 years old when they spake unto Pharaoh, and the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, when the Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, take thy rod, cast it before the Pharaoh, and it shall be, and it shall become a so all these signs, people they witness, all the people witnessing this.
Right.
So then verse 20, and Moses and Aaron did so, and the Lord commanded, and he lifted up a rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of the Pharaoh and in the sight of the servant, his servants. See that in the sight of the Pharaoh, sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned into blood. So everybody saw that.
Right.
That's what is going on a lot of people head. Then the frogs. Everybody saw the frogs, right?
Right.
The flies, the lice, the plague on the cattle, the boils, right? The plague of hail. See, so if he changed not, then we supposed to be able to see what he's doing now to deliver us.
Right.
We supposed to be looking and paying attention for what he's gonna do to us. But I want to shine a light on something in chapter 7. Like I said, it's more, it's so it's plain, but we don't because we ain't, it's not being they hoodwinked us on our understanding. So I'm in chapter 7. So in Ezekiel 37, the Most High raised the army up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told you he raised that army up because it's an army gonna come in Ezekiel 38. That's why he raised the army up to combat the army that the Gentiles gonna bring.
Okay.
So that's why he raised the army up. So right here, I'm in chapter 7. This is Moses before the Pharaoh. And the Lord said unto Moses, see, I have made thee a God to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send children of Israel out of his land. And I will harden the Pharaoh's heart. Look at this. He told Aaron and Moses, go tell him to let him go, knowing that he even hardened Pharaoh's heart, he ain't gonna let him go.
Mm-hmm.
But he doing it for a reason. It says, and I will harden the Pharaoh's heart, multiply my signs, see that? My signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. That's for everybody to see. But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt and bring forth mine armies. See that?
Right.
So what is the armies is? The Israelites, the 12 tribes. Each one of them boys is a nation. There's 12 nations in Israel. They're saying tribe, but they're nation. So a nation got an army. So he says, but the Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hands upon Egypt and bring forth mine armies and my people, that the children of Israel, my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgment. So you say, well, what you talking about? Well, when they get to the land of Canaan, who they got to kill?
They got to kill them giants.
There you go. They got the armies right there to do it.
Question.
Okay.
You know how in different places in the Tanakh it talks about the Lord of hosts. Okay, the Lord's armies.
Right.
And I used to think that was speaking of the angelic host.
Right.
No.
Yeah, in certain cases, Carter, you got to Carter what you're reading, but right here, he says in verse 4, but the Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt. Why is he laying his hand upon Egypt? It ain't no angels, it's not no angels in subjection in Egypt, is it?
No.
It's Israelites.
Okay.
So we know that's what the armies is. So go even further like I said, the Most High is precise. Once you get lined out, start thinking like a Hebrew. So 5 says, "And Egyptian shall know that I am the Lord." Right? Look at this. "And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt and bring out the children of Israel from among them." So they were fumbling. We're in the same predicament now. They had all kind of other gods. They gave us JC, all kind of other gods. So right here, I showed you the 10 plagues. Everybody saw the plagues, and then they know that it was somebody doing it. They know it was a God. It was a being that was doing it. And they know that it was the God that came was coming to get the Israelites.
Right.
So they knew it was the God of Israel. So he telling them right here, "And the Egyptian shall know that I am the Lord when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt and bring the children of Israel from among them." Right?
Right.
Ain't we being oppressed now?
Yes.
Okay, so you gotta follow the same narrative. So let's go to Ezekiel 37 and see if the Most High is not precise. Ezekiel 37. Let me get it. 37. And I'm in 37 and I'm in verse 12.
Okay.
"Therefore, the same God that was in Egypt, therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus says the Lord God, Behold, O my people, I will open up your graves." So that means we're going to see all this. "Cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel." And then look, "And ye shall know that I am the Lord." Ain't that what he just said?
Right.
Over there. So we got they gave us JC, all these Hebrew Christians and all this hollering about JC coming. So this is why he gonna do it. "And ye shall know I am the Lord when I have opened up your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and I shall put my spirit in you. Ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall you know that I, the Lord, have spoken it, performed it, says the Lord." So did he speak it and perform it over there in Egypt?
Yes, he did.
Thank God.
Mm.
He worked with signs and wonders. And then the signs ain't gonna be hid, ain't gonna be no blanket over the signs. You're gonna everybody in the oppressor, the people that's oppressed, and everybody else gonna see when all this go down, we're gonna witness it. And so the reason I'm showing you this because it already started. We just ain't paying on, we just ain't zeroing in on it. It already started. He already manipulating the scene already.
Right.
Like I said, you couldn't have got nobody to talk about no total race rise in the magnitude they talk about it now.
Right.
That's the Most High, because you can see you can't bring up all that in the magnitude that they doing it and then don't do reparations. These white folks is saying that this was wicked as hell. So you can't bring it to the forefront the way they're doing now and don't rectify it.
Right.
And fix it. And that's what they're doing. They bringing it back to our remembrance because they got a hidden agenda. They want to give us, reprimand us, and then they want to, by reprimanding us, they want to bless what they call themselves blessing what they're getting ready to do. That's sending us back to Africa. They want the United States of Africa. Right.
Question.
Okay.
When you compare the signs that happen in Egypt, and you let us know that we should be looking out for signs now, are you saying that those signs are the things that are going on, like the whole discussion of reparations, like
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
we Israelites. You know, we got a culture. And so you have to understand what did we do in the temple? We sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we the Israelites, right?
Right.
We ain't got nothing. We ain't got no flocks, no herds to make no sacrifices.
Right.
That's unheard of. For how Israelites how you gonna be a nation of Israelites, but you ain't got no flocks and herds?
Right.
So you supposed to be looking for some flocks and herds gonna come from somewhere.
When we get to Africa?
Yeah, you supposed to be you gonna get some flocks and herds.
Okay.
We'll be waiting on that. We Israelites, so we going back to build the temple gonna be brought back. So that means we gotta sacrifice.
Right, but I mean, as we are here in the diaspora and we are looking for the Lord of hosts to deliver us, so to speak, are you saying that the signs that are comparable to what happened in Egypt is the movement toward reparations? Is that one sign?
Right. Uh, Cyrus came out and gave a whole bunch of gold, silver, jewels, and all that to Zerubbabel, right?
Right.
For what? Why he gave him all that? Why the Most High had him give him all that?
Because he was for the temple.
For the temple and for them the way to get back. You know, when they was left Egypt, didn't they tell them when they came to the land of Canaan, when they came across the Amalekites, they said, we gonna pass through your land, we're gonna go across the top, but if we need water or we need anything, we'll pay you for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
They had spoiled the Egyptians.
Okay. Right.
So that's what all this stuff about. So I'm showing you that we need flocks and herds. We gotta have flocks and herds. We Israelites. So they in Egypt, and we in chapter 10 in Egypt says, and the Lord said unto Moses, go in unto Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart. I have hardened his heart and the heart of the servants, that I might show these my signs before him, and that thou mayest tell it in the ears of thy son and thy son's sons what things I have wrought in Egypt, and my signs which I have done among them, that ye may know how that I am the Lord. And Moses and Aaron came unto the Pharaoh and said unto him, thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, how long wilt thou refuse to humble thyself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if thou refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring the locusts into thy coast. So when he say, let my people go to serve me, what are you talking about?
Well, he means to release them so that they can go and,
Serve
do
me.
sacrifices. Huh?
Right. There you go. Sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they serve him. In the
Okay.
temple, sacrificing these animals. So they had animals in order to sacrifice, right?
Right.
4. Else, if thou refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring the locusts into thy coast, and they shall cover the face of the earth, that one cannot be able to see the earth, and they shall eat the residue of that which is escaped, which remaineth unto you from the hail, and shall eat every tree which groweth from out of the field, and they shall fill thy houses, and the houses of all thy servants, and the houses of all thy Egyptians, which neither thy fathers nor thy fathers' fathers have seen, since the day that they were upon the earth unto this day. And he turned himself and went out from Pharaoh. Then 7. And the Pharaoh's servant said unto him, how long shall this man be a snare unto us? Let the man go, that they may serve the Lord their God. Knowest thou not yet that Egypt is destroyed? Now, he says, 8. And Moses and Aaron were brought again unto Pharaoh, and he said unto them, go, serve the Lord. Look at this. Go, serve the Lord thy God. But who are they that shall go, right? Then he said, and Moses said, we will go with our young and with our old. we will go with our sons and with our daughters. Look at this. And with our flocks. See that?
Wow.
And with our herds we will go. For we must hold a feast unto the Lord. See that? We got to have the flocks and the herds. He's talking with it. Now watch this. And he said unto them, let the Lord be so with you, as I will let you go and your little ones. Look to it, for the evil is before you. Now so, go now, yea, that are ye that are men, and serve the Lord, or that ye did desire, and they were driven out from the Pharaoh's presence. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up upon the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land, even all the hell, or all that the hell have left. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the coasts of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them there was no such locusts as they, neither after them shall there be such. For they covered the face of the whole earth, so that the land was darkened, and they did eat every herb of the land and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left, and there remained not any green thing in the trees or in the herb of the field through all the land of Egypt. So now look at this. Then the Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in haste. And he said, see, he playing games. And Most High getting his mind right. And he said, I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sin only this once, and entreat the Lord your God that he may take away from me this death only. And he went out from the Pharaoh and entreated the Lord. And the Lord turned a mighty or strong west wind, which took away the locusts and cast them into the Red Sea. There remained not one locust in all the coasts of Egypt. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go. It says, now here we go. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hands over heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any man from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. And the Pharaoh called unto Moses and said, go ye, look at this, go ye, serve the Lord. Only let your flock and your herd be stayed. Let your little ones also go. So he's trying to send the Israelites out to go deal with the Lord of hosts, but he don't want them to take the herds. See that? He playing games. So I'm telling you, it's 1920, it's 2021, but we gotta have flocks and herds. And you don't see none. But when we leave here and we get where we're going, we gotta have flocks and herds.
So so you think he would provide that for us when we get to the West Coast, right?
Go to Isaiah. So like I said, the way they think is gonna go down, it ain't going down the way you think. So like I said, everybody was witnessing all this. Everybody was witnessing all this. We're gonna witness all of it this time. So chapter 60, this is the future glory of Zion. It says 16:1, arise, shine, for the light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. So we see that already started. We already rising on us. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, gross darkness the people, but the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Ain't that what he just did? He told Moses about a thick darkness over the land of Egypt, but it was light on the Israelites, right?
Right.
Did we just read that?
Right, in Exodus. Leonard, where are you at right now?
Isaiah 60.
60?
Yeah, 60 and verse 1.
Oh, okay.
I'm on verse 3 now.
Okay.
So it says, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light, the kings to thy brightness of thy rising. So did he say the Egyptians?
No.
He said the Gentiles, right?
Right.
Where we at?
We in the land of the Gentiles.
Okay. 4, lift up thine eyes round about and see all they that gather themselves together. They come. This is Ezekiel 37. To thee, thy sons come from afar, and thy daughters shall nurse thy side. Then thou shalt see. See that? They saw all the plagues. They saw all the plagues over there. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. Look at this. The multitude of camels. Ain't that what we need? The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The drummery of Midian and Ephah, all they of Sheba shall come. It's herds all over Africa. So they shall bring gold and incense. They shall show forth the praises of the Lord. All the flocks, see that?
Yes.
All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together on Lee, because that's what we need. That's what
Okay.
the
Right.
Pharaoh tried to hold the flocks back in Egypt.
Right.
Ain't nothing new under the sun. We over here, they got cars and trucks and all that, and airplanes, but we got to have flocks.
Right. Right.
Got to have flocks. So he says, all the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together under thee, the rams of Nebar. Don't we need rams?
We need some rams. Yes.
Nebar shall minister unto thee, and they shall come up with a scepters on mine altar. See, we need the altar.
That's it right there.
Right.
That's it right there.
And I will glorify to my glory. See that? So
you know we done read all over that.
Right. They got us all over the place. But most I doing the same thing he did back in the day. So let me give you another example right quick before I go back over where I was at. So I'm in Micah. Micah chapter Micah chapter 7. I'm gonna start at 17, 7 and 17 of Micah.
Okay.
They shall lick up the dust like a serpent. They shall move out of their holes like worms of the earth. They shall be afraid of the Lord our God and shall fear because of thee. See, this when he come back, right? Who is a God likened unto thee, that pardoneth iniquity and passeth by the transgressions of the remnant of his heritage? He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. He will turn again. See that? He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and thou will cast all thy sins into the depths of the sea, right?
Hallelujah.
So now look at 20. Thou will perform the truth to Jacob and the mercy of Abraham, which thou hast sworn unto our fathers from the days of what?
Days of old.
See that? And then we had flocks and herds in the days of old?
That's right.
Now, let me show you something what these clowns did. So, I mean, I'm in chapter 5 of Micah.
Okay.
So, a deliverer shall come from Bethlehem. So, everybody online should know now it's damn sure ain't Jesus. So, we're going to look at it. Chapter 5, verse 1. Now, gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. Ye have laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek. They got you thinking it's JC.
Right.
Two. But thou, O Bethlehem, they read over to the other part. Thou, O Bethlehem, Euphrates, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto thee, unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from where?
The days of old.
See, they added the everlasting to that.
Yeah.
We just read over in chapter 7, he said that from the days of old. What ain't no everlasting on it.
That's right.
Now we see over here this David from Bethlehem. Jesse from Bethlehem. So it says, verse 2, but thou, Bethlehem Euphrates, that's where David's from, his daddy from there. Though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me. That's the Lord of hosts talking. Told Samuel to go anoint who?
David.
Said David is what? My Messiah, right?
Yes.
See, so he says, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from old.
That's right.
David. Okay. So like I said before, you know, we get caught up with what we're looking at today. You know, so we got to have flocks and herds. And,
yeah,
you know, you got the wrong picture. That, like I said, what you think getting ready to happen ain't finna happen. You know, we Israelites, and the reason why we're in a predicament we was in Egypt. When we was catching hell, So, and the only way to fix the hell was to leave Egypt and go out in the wilderness and sacrifice our God.
Right.
That's the only thing gonna fix it now.
Separation.
And we gotta have all the things we need to sacrifice to Him. You can't sacrifice no Jaguar or sacrifice no damn Mercedes Benz.
Now, Leonard, when you say that,
and herds,
right,
and lambs and turtle doves.
right.
Okay.
When you keep saying that we need these flocks and stuff, I have a question. You're okay. Are you of the belief that the flocks and the herds and all of that is going to come? You know, the Lord has a way to bring them to us when we get back to Africa. We're not getting no flocks and no herds here, right?
No, we going back to Africa. That's what I'm saying. The flocks
Okay.
all over Africa.
Okay, right.
We see every day on all those Arabs and those Muslims and everybody got flocks and herds all over the place.
Exactly.
There ain't none of else. It ain't none of else. It's just like Queen Elizabeth riding around in that golden carriage. There ain't none of her gold.
Right.
You know, that's Israelite gold.
Right. And even to this day, Leonard, even to this day, I know when I went to Ghana in 2015, they have those little black shepherds. They got about 30, 40 cows, and they making a certain sound, and they walking, and them cows just following them.
Right.
Yeah. And
yeah,
sheep.
They've been together forever.
Yeah.
Right.
Sheep, cows. Exactly.
Right.
Okay. We don't see herdsmen and shepherds over here, but in our country, it that's part of the culture.
Right. This was a place for punishment. It wasn't a place to make no sacrifice to the Most High.
Mm.
Place of punishment. So herds and all that was taken away. That's how he hidden himself from us.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, he said he delighted himself in sacrifices. So when the Israelite he had to take away the rams and the goats, because he's going to sacrifice, he's going to show up.
Right.
So he had to take all that away from us. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna go into this. Go ahead.
It talk about the cattle in Ezekiel 38 and 12.
Right. Exactly. Right. Let me read that.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. Yeah, it talk about it. I just goes to I go to Isaiah 60 because it mentioned the Gentile.
Mm-hmm. Ezekiel
38:12, it says, to take a fall and take a prey and to turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are not inhabited and upon the people that have gathered out of the nations which have gotten cattle and goods and dwell in the midst of the land. So they got all the stuff they need.
Wow.
To deal with him. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna play this video. It's about this got to do with what I was talking about too. I said I was gonna come back to about it's not a coincidence that we going back to Africa, and the Most High already knew that he know the beginning from the end. So let me click on that right quick. I'm just let some of it play. We'll talk about it. Go through a little bit of it. Okay. Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here, and we are thankful to be here tonight on our stream. We want to talk to you guys about a video that I was sent, and let me pull up on my thing right here real quick. All right, so I'm glad you guys are joining us tonight. I had to catch me a nap, kind of like when I got home, and I said, you know what, let me go ahead and do this stream tonight while it's on my mind, because sometimes I like to do streams when it's on my mind, right? So we got a video we're going to present, and the guy in the video, this is a video from 2015. There was a sister from the continent that sent me this video. I never seen it before, but I'm glad she sent it, because this guy really breaks down how the standard of living in North America and Europe is built completely off of Africa. Now, you remember when I made a statement and I said Africa doesn't need the world needs Africa. Remember I made that statement? Well, what this guy is going to say is really going to, highlight that. And then, as you listen to this, I'm going to also talk about, people that have so much pride in this place and realize that the reason why you're living the way you're living as Black Americans is because of what they're doing to them over there. And how, some of you like to talk down on them, and because supposedly we're so much better, but we wouldn't have that standard of living, it wouldn't be for them, because they the one with the resources. We ain't got crap. So this video, the guy name is Henry Nichols. It took place at The Hague. Now, The Hague is the same place where the International Criminal Court is at. Now, this guy is an economist. And I'm going to play 3 different clips and break down, the few things that I want to show here. So in this first clip, he's going to talk about the raw materials that's on the continent. And I know a lot of people have been reaching out to me recently saying about a lot of things going on in the Congo and how, the West, Chinese.
Yeah, so I just showed you in 3 different places, days are old. So where was all the resources at in the days are old?
Africa.
Hello?
Africa.
Okay, well, ain't that where we going back to?
That's right.
Okay.
Etc. is behind all the things that's happening in Congo right now. What this guy is going to say, he's going to bring it home through that. So let me go ahead and play this first clip, and then we're going to come back and talk about this. So let me pull this up.
Something don't look right about him.
So he just woke up.
Let's see here.
I'm telling his hair and stuff.
There. All right, so here we go. If we can hear it.
The advanced countries. Okay, and Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital to the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And whether it is Europe or US.
So nobody should be surprised that this way all gonna go down there. We done did the research and found out where the 290s went to. 290s went to Africa, didn't they? Hello?
Say that again, Leonard.
The 290s that came down on Mount Hermon, where they ended up at?
In Egypt.
In Africa, right? In
Right.
Africa. Right. Africa is Eden.
Okay.
Africa is Eden. And so we shouldn't be surprised in the end, right here at the end, when the Most High get ready to come back, that these same people right here gonna end up in Africa. That's Eden. That's where all the resources are.
When you say
China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need.
That's the Gentiles talking.
Oh wow.
It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. Okay? But this is the opposition that they're fighting. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe and North America and Asia is going to fall. Okay? And that is a big price to pay. I assure you the West is not going to allow that without a big fine. Okay, so this is what it's fundamentally about. What I want to show you is how these structures are operating. It's just 20 minutes, so we can't do very much, but just to give you a little bit of an idea. And why I keep the ideology part there is because we are part of the producers of ideology. At universities and academic institutions, we are complicit in this whole enterprise. Okay? So the job of many Western academics is to convince Africans they have to keep doing what they're doing. Okay? And to show them it's your fault that you're poor. It's not our fault. It's your fault that you're poor. You know? So this is what we do in academic institutions. I want to show that as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's break down that. So he said that they need the raw materials of the continent. They need it dirt cheap. He said that. He said that you heard that the whole standard of living that you see, all the facade that you see in Europe and in North America. North America, we also, they're not definitely talking about Mexico, because they didn't ruin Mexico. Call that what it is. If you read the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman, you know what they did in Latin America. That's why Mexico is a cartel hellhole. It just is. It's called it what it is. It's sad because a lot of good people died down there that has nothing to do with it. But, you know, the West is the reason why it's like that. But when they say North America, you're talking about the United States and Canada. They all in league with each other to make sure that the continent stay down. You know, when you hear the term parasite, I don't know what the term to use. And the Chinese is part of this, Asia is part of this too. Everybody is living high in the continent of Africa. And it's amazing how these same people hate black people so much.
Yeah.
Look at that particular conversation that they was having at The Hague 5 years ago. You see how they strategically have meetings to talk about what they're doing, why they're doing it, etc., to make sure that they can stay on top at the expense of black folk. So when you go to some African nations that are worse off than others, understand they're the reason it's that way. We talking about the West. And I have a lot of African brothers and sisters that watch this channel. Like, say, it was an African sister that sent me this video. I don't understand how when these people show up in your countries, why are you smiling at them? I don't understand that. I don't understand why the majority of you isn't like Julius Malema in the EFL, or the majority of you aren't like our brother Professor PLO Lumumba in Kenya. I don't understand why you guys don't.
That was the guy he mentioned. This guy I just showed you to keep an eye on, the one that was arguing in the parliament.
Think like them. Those are the people that you need to be following on the African continent and start to think like them. Because when, you know, we see, and we've seen criticism, you know, definitely from some of our continental African brothers and sisters say, well, you know, you Black Americans, you know, you guys are, you guys kind of hate, and you guys don't like them like that, and we're not like you. Well, they're doing you worse, in my opinion. Just my opinion. They're doing you worse than they're doing us. I'm gonna be real with you. Yes, we have suffered slavery. Yes, they owe us reparations. Yes, they have destroyed everything, and I'm gonna get to us too, because everything he's gonna say in these videos makes so much sense for us here, right? If they have meetings about what they're doing to Africa, you think they don't have meetings about what they're doing to Black America? Think about that. If their goal is to keep Africa in a perpetual impoverished state as a continent, right? Do you think that isn't their goal to keep us in a fifth-class citizen status? Think about it. It don't matter how smart we are, how much we achieve.
Exactly.
Why we just
Exactly.
cannot get to even where our ancestors were during Reconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
About that. These people purposely every year, even right here in America, have meetings, have strategies. We're doing the exact same thing. Economists, psychologists, etc. And a clear-cut strategy recently I've seen that they played on Black Americans is the situation with Ice Cube, and I'll talk about that a little later.
With what?
Ice
That
Cube.
was embarrassing, and I literally saw how the Mzungu that's liberal, how much they really control Black people. I literally seen it in real time, how they control the majority of Black people.
Right.
It was like scary how much they
Right.
control y'all.
Right.
I just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Right.
How they got.
You know, what did he say?
Hold up. He said it's scary to see how much Black folks are controlled by the white folks.
But
Remember,
what did he say happened that he saw that control?
Ice Cube. When Ice Cube came out with when they pitted Ice Cube against the Republicans and the Democrats. When Ice Cube was doing the thing about the reparation thing.
Okay. Okay.
So they came in and just neutralized him by pitting him with Trump, and like he was with Trump.
Right.
So that made him look bad in front of the whites, in front of the Black folks, because they have a problem with Trump. They trying to figure out why would Ice Cube side with him, but he didn't side. He wasn't siding with him. So, yeah. But
Okay.
let's go back to the conversation from Wednesday night, the buck breaking.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's how they can control you. That's how they control us, because of all the stuff they know they already done.
Mm-hmm.
We just like limp noodles. We ain't, whatever they say, we don't. Now we starting to wake up. Most out waking us up, but we assume because they said something, then it's supposed to be true.
Exactly.
You ain't doing like with JC, the research, right? All you do is go on YouTube, and all the information there will tell you where his origins and how he came about and all that. But they don't. They just they get caught up in their emotions when it comes to JC and pretty much everything else. When emotion don't count, emotions don't count.
That's right. That's right.
That's what people have to start to realize. Emotions don't count. They don't count no more.
Mm-hmm.
That's what got us where we at.
Right.
If just like back in the day, I would have been doing the same thing with JC, but you gotta put him down, put him on the shelf, and then go do your research. Get out of the emotional part of it and go do the research.
Yeah.
Not just with that, with everything else, because they lie about everything. You got grown white folks, influential white folks that didn't even know about Tulsa.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I tell you how slick they is right there. You got grown white folks that, if like Tom Hanks said, he considered himself to be a historian.
Mm.
And he didn't even know nothing about Tulsa, Oklahoma. So that tell you how slick they is right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
On your brother in 2 seconds because they told you to. That was sick. I'll be honest with you. Y'all feel ashamed of yourself. Some of y'all was attacking Ice Cube. You should feel utterly ashamed of yourself because you don't listen to nothing. And you do everything your liberal mommy and daddy tell you to do. And they the same ones that created that freaking crime bill. Well, we said we get to y'all later. So if they're having these meetings about how they gonna keep the African continent impoverished, those of you on the continent that may view.
What's going on? Yeah, that's.
You need to start thinking about that.
Now
we go.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to get rid of scratches in 2.
play in the next clip. This guy going to explain about why you guys can't have an industrial revolution in your country like other places, and why they don't want you producing nothing in your own country. So let's get to that. So that's very important for you guys to hear as well. So let me get to the part I need to get to. Just give me a second, because I wrote all this down. I like to always come prepared, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
I don't want to be playing videos and you guys don't like, oh my God, he ain't got his act together. So just give me 2 seconds. All right, we where we want to be.
As a percentage of the total, this is percentages of total production in sub-Saharan Africa. How much of it is accounted for by manufacturing? So this figure here is 17% of the total. Most of the rest, when we talk of industry, it includes manufacturing, but the bulk of it is mining. Okay? Raw material extraction. This is the bulk of it. And here we see actually raw material extraction has stayed the same. What has caused the industry to fall is the fall in manufacturing production. This is deliberate because we will never, as Western economists, as Western policymakers, we cannot afford to allow Africa to industrialize and start producing manufacturers. Okay, so we will do everything to stop that. And I'm going to show you how we actually block that. It's obvious in certain ways, but it's less obvious in other ways. Now, we have actually seen periods of rapid growth in sub-Saharan Africa, leading people saying, oh, you know, we're now doing much better. And this has happened recently. Recently, I've had students come and tell me, we've done much better now. And you can see growth rates rose quite sharply in recent times. Now are starting to go again down. But if you look historically, the same thing happened earlier. Why? Because in these two periods, we had East Asian rapid industrialization processes. So in the earlier period, we had Japan and Korea and Taiwan. Rapid growth, sucking in raw materials from Africa, driving up the prices, and then sub-Saharan African countries grew. Exporting raw materials, they grew. But after those countries finished industrialization, then sub-Saharan African growth rate again fell. Okay, but along comes China, next wave. Okay, again, sub-Saharan African growth rises, but now China is going down. As many of you now know from the press, China is going down. But sub-Saharan Africa is going down even faster. And we're going to go back to where we were again, with very low prices of raw materials, very low growth rates, and again, the sorts of poverty that we saw once before. Because, bottom line, sub-Saharan Africa is condemned to this role, just the supplier of raw materials, not a manufacturer.
All right, so you heard what he said. He said that on the African continent, they have in their mind condemned you to poverty and condemned you just to be a supplier of their lifestyle. And I saw some people already in the chat being extremely ignorant. You know, we have some ignorant Black Americans. Oh my God, some of us are ignorant. Jesus Christ. So you had an ignoramus show up in the chat while that man was talking, saying, and you want us to go over there, you idiot, your life here wouldn't even be where it's at. It wouldn't be for them. Have you realized that? That this man said, if they just rise up just even a little bit, you're done here. You're doomed, literally. I mean, why are you taking pride in their suffering? You understand what I'm saying? Like, it makes me think a little different about unity. It makes me think a little different about how all of a sudden everybody's bickering about this nationality type of thing, like, and who is it benefiting at the end of the day? Because we having all this bickering back and forth among each other, having diaspora wars, but who's benefiting? Because I quite noticed that when
yeah, they're behind it. That's why they're the one created.
Last year, more and more people started getting on a repatriation or even just back to Africa movement, and there was a lot of people doing that, and a lot of the YouTubers, definitely through media, was pushing that, and a lot of people started going. We even took 30 people last year to the continent. That rarely happens, right? So all of a sudden, in toward the end of 2020, mid 2020, all these diaspora wars start happening. All of a sudden, everybody at each other's throats. Who that benefits at the end of the day? Who? You say, I'm my own group. Okay, fine, you and your own group. What does that produce? It don't produce anything. According to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said our unity is stronger than an atomic bomb. And these people know that. In order for these people to keep doing this, you have to stay not unified. And I'm talking about also you on the African continent as well. And, you know, Julius Malema said something so powerful about that. He says that, you know, you don't like him because he's from Zimbabwe. You don't like him because he's from Nigeria. You don't like him because he's from here, he's from there. He said, you're them, they're you. It is. And I don't, that's one thing that we in Black America probably don't understand more than anything else, is that all y'all look the same. Y'all may speak different languages, maybe a few different customs, but to the world, all of you are Black. Why are you dividing over everybody Black? Like, how do you, listen, if you line up a Ghanaian, a South African, a Nigerian, somebody from Rwanda, just line them up and tell the average person that's non-Black to say, hey, which one of them is Ghanaian? Which one of them is South African? They couldn't tell the difference. But the one thing they could say is, oh, they all Black. They know that much. I mean, do you realize that people are benefiting off of you being not unified? Do you guys realize this on the continent and even here too, of course? Do you realize that? You realize even throughout the world that we're dividing about, well, you're not me, you're not from my lineage, you're not this, you're not that. Do you realize who's that benefiting? It's benefiting them folks. That's benefiting the Chinese. That's who that's benefiting. That's not benefiting Black people doing that. I mean, it's like,
right. So they got their hand, they got their hand in the Bible too. Like I say, they they concocted the New Testament versus the Old Testament. That's the vision right there. They're behind that. But with anybody got any comments?
Yes. You always tell us about the genius of Esau.
Right.
And tonight, listening to this, it has opened up a whole nother perspective of thinking. Right. Okay, because the genius of Esau has got us not only divided here in the diaspora, but it has us divided all over the world. I know we're scattered, but right. You would think that if somebody looks like me or somebody has experienced the same thing that I experienced, I would want to know, or I would want to, like you say, they always show us these pictures of the Africans with the big bellies and all this kind of stuff. I seen that before, but I never really made the connection to, right. I never really made the connection that you're bringing to us tonight.
Right. We have the image and the attitude toward Africa that they painted for us.
Yes. Yes.
We never thought about, like I was saying, with all that Most High done with me in the last 20, 25 years or so. Oh, I was right there. I was in Germany. I had free access. I was in a unit that I was a supply.
Right.
And we was doing missile maintenance on those Patriot missile systems. So I had to go TDY to all those countries, like Spain, all that places.
Wow.
Never once did I say, let me go to Africa.
Uh-huh.
Because you brainwashed.
Right.
Now I'll jump over the World Trade Center now that to be put that out in that position again.
So, Leonard, what do you remember what you thought about Africa back then? Is that a place that you did not want to go to?
Well, the thing about what I'm saying is it's subliminal. You have no idea who you are or none of that.
Right.
It got you at 6 years old, from 6 to 18, and you got brainwashed.
Yes.
If you wasn't in the church house on Sunday, you was at school.
Right.
And everything they gave you was contrary to who you were. So
Right.
you right there by the whole continent of Africa, but it never crossed your mind that you need to and then a lot of it was all you had to do is have money to eat off of. The trip was free.
Wow.
With the military, but come on. I'm like, man,
you didn't even have an idea.
I had no, throw. Just didn't know this. But so you have to apply that if that's the way you are. You got to apply that to the rest of African America. They do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, something as simple as, I had to realize down in the arms room, when we have to go to the firing range.
Right.
I'm sitting there, I'm saying, okay, they come in, the brother might say that, man, I lost my my magazine.
Yeah.
To my M16, right? You got magazines all over the place. Just get a brother magazine, right?
Right.
You all bent out of shape, but then the white boy say he need a magazine. You jumping over, you run tripping over all kind of stuff trying to get a magazine to get to.
Yes.
Not understanding that that's subliminal. You know what I'm saying? You've been hoodwinked to do that.
Right.
That's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High was dealing with me then. So you in the bank, people doing that in the bank too. The Caucasian, the Anglo-Saxon come in there. You all over the counter trying to do everything they say, but you acting a whole type of another way when the brother come in there.
Exactly.
Not even you never think about that, but you
Yeah,
do
and
it.
I'm sorry. And if you notice, also, you can be standing in line at the bank. Long as it's black folks standing in line, they're not gonna open up another teller.
Right.
Okay, you just stand there and wait your turn. But
Right.
let some white person come in there. They open up another teller because they don't want them to wait. You can wait.
Right.
And
you don't know it. You ain't paying attention to it, but it's happening. You've been conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can't. That's why we can't. You can't see how you never found out who the Lord of Hosts was because you've been brainwashed. You ain't doing no critical thinking. Try to find out who. What I'm saying, you even begin to believe that when all the signs there, he's looking at JC even down to the point where he got red hair.
Yeah.
Come on, but we just ain't paying no attention to it. Just throw.
Right. And like I said, I keep I'm really, really going back to 2015 when I went to Ghana, and I'm seeing all that I missed about the trip because I was not in the know. Even though I went there, I was there, and I'll tell you, one of the things that happened to me was to have a black pilot and all the stewardess are black.
Right.
It does something to you, so much so that when I got to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia,
Right.
man, I got off the plane and kissed the ground. It was just like, you everybody that's in any position is black, and I was not used to seeing that.
Right.
And then so what I'm trying to say is, the question that I have, like when you go to Africa, do you believe that there is something in the air, in the atmosphere that does something to us who, that's our land? Because I mean, as soon as I stepped off the plane, I just got down and kissed the ground. I was just like, it's something that came over me. It was almost like I had came home, and I didn't even have the knowledge that you have given us, but it was something inside of me that just made me want to honor that land like that.
Right. That's the part that happened. We've been disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a disconnect. Like I said, we dealing with that. Those 12 years I keep talking about, from 6 to 18, we indoctrinated into their life, their culture, their way of life. And it's signs of it all over the place because of the educational system. We the ones that's being destroyed because of their educational system.
Right.
They're pumping out all kind of doctors, lawyers, and all that because of that's their system.
Mm-hmm.
Not our system. So that's what that is, and we just don't even operate the way they do.
Right. And Leonard, you always talk about them and the way they do things by science, the science of what they do. Right. And so that also is applied to how they indoctrinate us, because if you get a child by 6 years old, you have formed their thinking for the rest of their life.
Right.
And so they have our children in a classroom with a European teacher.
Right.
Okay. And then you have our little boys in the schools, and we don't have any black male teachers. So right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's that whole thinking, and I promise you, because I was a teacher, the little black boys are angry.
Right.
I mean, they are angry, and they do not want to listen to those European teachers. I'm telling you. And what they do, one of the things that those teachers do is they feed them candy. Right. To listen to them. And then the next thing they're doing is they are requesting, that they be put on Ritalin and all of this, but they're forming that mental by the time they are 6 years old. So this is the last thing I'm gonna say. So when you think about the science of it, there's by the time a person is 6 years old, that's the reason why they started Head Start.
Right.
Is to get the children out from under their parents sooner.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And so, yeah.
That goes back to the melanin. The melanin is a system within itself. It's adapting to what they're trying to do, and so then they come back and counter that. Counter what's happening. It counter that. That's like the awakening now. Us waking up as Hebrew Israelites. That's associated with the melanin.
Yes.
Most high manipulating that. So, like I said, prime examples are rap. Rap is the melanin reacting to us being over here, being oppressed. Then rap came from that. Jazz, blues, all that came from the melanin reacting.
Right.
Making adjustments. Then they come back around, and that's the whole reason behind the like I said, the FBI and the CIA. Because you can do all you want to one generation, but the melanin might do something else in the next generation. So they got to constantly making adjustments, and it's like I was saying with the even with the if you notice all these new drugs that came out during the Vietnam War, there was when all the black guys was getting killed, they was bringing them back over here in those body bags, and they was doing research on them, and they was opening up their mind, their brains, and all that, and the pineal gland was still illuminated.
Wow.
And so that's when they realized. That's when they medical went to a whole nother level, because then they started researching that pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went into they found out that we ain't the same people. We're a whole different type of person than they are.
Exactly.
Melanin is a system within itself.
Mm-hmm. And it's a system that go ahead.
Right. That's when all these drugs came.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
They start targeting the melanin.
Mm-hmm.
Targeting that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And one question somebody asked me, it said, did you see a tree in the garden that was there a tree in the Garden of Eden that grew peels? Was there a peel tree?
Right.
Right. So we don't have no business taking no
Right.
pills.
Exactly. Right. That's a denigrating the Most High. He didn't know what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what that is. So yeah, and so like I said before, he said that I mean he came down to Noah and Shem was the only one left. They had done so much diabolical stuff on the earth. It wasn't nothing but Noah and Shem left. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's why he had to bring the flood. Well, we in that same predicament now.
Yes.
They manipulating everything and got so much stuff going on. It's if it wasn't for the Most High, we'd have been wiped out.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
It comes to manipulating us and attacking us, and like I said, when you start talking about thinking like a Hebrew and all that, you ain't even thinking about some of the diabolical stuff they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But after you get into it and you start seeing the more and more you uncover, then you have to pay attention to it. You got to pay attention to everything because it's directly affecting you, and you think it is not.
Right.
It's
And
like the New Testament, you know.
yes, and one thing that I really, really, I really wish that this month, according to the National Registry, this is Men's Health Month. Okay,
Right,
focusing on men and good health and their mental health. But it's one thing that I wish these brothers would pay attention to, and that is these pills that they're giving them to so to speak make them last longer uh intimately. That
right.
is a weapon.
Oh yeah, side effects to it too.
This is what I'm saying. The nation of Israel multiplied so fast that's the reason why Pharaoh started acting the way he was acting.
Right, exactly.
They didn't need no Viagra, no side tail. They got all kind of things. They got a blue pill, a red pill, and a purple pill. And you know, and I just wish that the brothers would know that, hey, you
Yeah,
don't
you've
need
been
that.
setting up. We've been that's the problem I'm talking about the what I was saying about the hydrogen dialectic. They created the problem with the food and all that. The food ain't real.
Yeah.
So you ain't eating no real food, so your body ain't responding like it's supposed to. So now all these guys coming up with what they call that
Prostate.
erectile dysfunction.
Yes.
So now you created the erectile dysfunction because you want to start giving black folks pills.
Right.
And
Right.
you want to make money off of pharmaceutical, so you created that. And then now it's so many of them that have that problem. Now the cry is going out, help us. Well, you already had the solution all the whole time.
Yeah.
So now when they say help me, well, here go this truckload of pills you can start taking.
Yeah, which is going to further
Going further, bring more side effects.
more side effects.
Next thing you're
Exactly
gonna
right.
be, they ain't gonna be, they can't heal.
Mm-hmm.
Half of the men can't heal. Then they got another pill for that. Then,
Right.
they going blind. Yeah,
Mm.
that's why the Most High said, he got to he got to come and save us and help us because these people are just they wiping us out.
Right. Okay. Further talking about science, because the genius of Esau, I'm beginning to understand is he has studied us and he knows what color stimulates whatever inside of us. He knows the brain, like the frontal lobe of the brain is the part of the brain that uh, that receives information and suggestions. And
Right.
so I just want to say this. I don't know if it, some of you guys may think it's trivial, but I don't listen to the commercials and the suggestions like when they're talking about the C word, when they're talking about cancer Are they talking about prostrate this and all that? Don't listen to those commercials, because your brain, your subconscious brain does not know that that is a commercial. It is honing in on what it hears, and it begins to try to bring that forth.
Right.
You understand? Yeah. So, somebody might say, well, then I can't listen to nothing. Well, the fact of the matter, we must guard. Don't the Bible tell us to guard our hearts, guard our minds?
Right.
And because of the way that the brain works, they cannot make a computer to measure up to the magnificent way that the brain works. However, subconsciously, all I have to do is make a suggestion, and that subconscious goes to work and tries to bring that thing into manifestation. And when you hear something negative, you have to say something positive against that negative at least 7 to 10 times before you can null and void the negative thought. I'm just talking about the science of the brain and the way they work on us through television, through commercials, through music. You know, when the rappers play these violent songs, then everybody in the club want to fight, and then you wonder why they want to fight.
Right. But that's what that is the melanin. That's the thing about it with it. So like I was saying before, when those guys, the black guys in Vietnam, they dead. They probably died 2-3 months ago, and they bring the body back over here. The pineal gland still working. See, so that's what that is. When you go to sleep, that melanin in your pineal gland and the system that the Most High, that system is tied to heaven. So you go to sleep, the pineal gland, all that's still working.
Yeah, kicks
so,
in.
So you don't receive garbage. You don't receive garbage from 6 years old to 18 years old. That's what the pineal gland working with.
Wow.
So imagine if you use the Hebrew Israelite in your culture, in the pineal gland, it's gonna be doing what we seeing happen to our forefathers in the Bible.
Right.
You know? So it's operating off of, like I said, we outside our environment.
Yeah.
So you can watch some old crazy horror movie
yes.
Then when you go to bed, then the pineal gland is still working.
Yes.
Dream, because the pineal gland still working, the melanin and all that's still working.
Yes.
So it's like I said before, even something as simple as our hair, because our hair is reacting to the sun. But we sitting around thinking something wrong with our hair. We trying to get weed and all this stuff. But the hair is reacting to the sun. Their hair ain't reacting to the sun. So what is it doing? It's reacting to the sun because what the energy it's getting from the sun is going to the pineal gland.
Yeah, wow.
We get the pineal gland sitting all down to the body. And that we throw it off because we don't understand that. So human, that's what a human is. That's what a human is. Everything about that your body is reacting to the sun.
Okay, what are you saying, Leonard? Human.
Hue. The ground. Adam was taken from the ground, from the hue of the ground. The soil, the dark soil that got melanin in it.
Okay.
So that's what a human is. So anyway, so when you have when like I said, your hair just like the grass doing, your hair reacting, to the sun. You ain't understanding it, but all that is energy that's floating around, frequencies all out there, and your hair and all that reacting to it. That's like soul food. Why are we making soul food? We eat that soul food, the taste and the spices and all that inside on our tongue is going off. But because we don't know nothing else, we think we don't know that that's special. When they eat that egg, they ain't going off like that. It's they taste buds because the melanin ain't there.
Right.
So all them explosions and taste buds and all that ain't going off with them. We seen everything with color and all that. They ain't seen it like that. That's what I'm telling you about albino. On the hill, like I said, with the movie Gabriel. You know, the guy, the little kid with Down syndrome can see the angel, but all the black kids, they can't see the angel. They
Right.
got melanin in them, but they can't see the angel. They
Right.
can't see, but the little kid with Down syndrome, come on, man.
Come on now.
Buck breaking right
Exactly.
there. That's buck breaking right there.
Yeah. Yes. Wow.
That's crazy. Then we go for that.
Right.
We go, you know, yeah. So like I said, they're not seeing they're not experiencing that, and we seeing it on a regular basis, but it ain't registering. Like I said, go to their house when they cooking. The food bland because they can't distinguish between the spices.
Right.
So we'll get their food, then we put spices on it.
Mm-hmm.
They can't make no soul food and make it spicy or make it with some tang in it because they don't know how to do it. They don't have nothing to go off of.
Right.
We got melanin.
Mm-hmm.
When you pick it, you get some collard greens and put a little something on there and then taste it, then melanin gonna go to work. They can't do that. They can't do that. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Wow.
Look at the damn golf course. Tiger Woods shut the golf course down there to go back and redesign all the golf courses.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and then Tiger Woods had it Chinese in him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what. But we ain't paying attention to none of that. We
Right.
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow.
That's a regular day-to-day basis.
Regular day to day.
It ain't registering that that all this stuff is going on.
And so we are not. We are two totally different species.
Right.
We're nothing like them.
Yeah. That's a Stargate. They always talking about Star Trek and all this garbage. That pineal gland is a Stargate to heaven. The angels coming. That's how they dealing. That's how we dealing with them. Through that pineal gland. It's bioluminescent.
Right.
We ain't beginning to try to. We ain't trying to work with that because most people don't even know it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a whole nother world, and that's what you unlocking when the truth started coming. When you dealing with the scriptures, when you start dealing with the Old Testament versus New Testament, that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with that pineal gland, the Stargate. That's been taken away from you.
Right.
Yeah, that's what that is. But you know what I'm saying? That's how you distinguish the truth from the lie because of that. Once the foundation comes.
Yes, Lena, is there a connection with you know how when the Lord of Hosts came to Moses in the burning bush, and then it ended up with the Lord giving him the commands for the nation of Israel, the 10 commandments.
Right.
The 10 commandments were not so a question was asked to me, are the 10 commandments for everybody? And my response was, no, they for the nation of Israel.
Right. But another way to look at that is the angels is we made in their image, right?
Right.
Okay, so Lucifer and Michael is sons, right? Or Yah.
Right.
Okay, well, the 10 Commandments. Look at what Lucifer done in the garden. All the 10 Commandments came from that. Didn't he coveted another man, his brother or wife?
Yes.
Didn't he lie?
Yes.
Didn't he steal?
Yes.
That's the 10 Commandments originated right there.
Wow.
But he did in the garden. Yeah.
But for example, Esau and the European, the 10 commandments are not for them. I mean, I know that they everybody wants to claim that we all one big family, we all one blood. We know we're not.
Right.
Okay. So being that the 10 commandments were given to Moses to give to the nation of Israel, they're for the nation of Israel, right? Or are they for everybody?
They for the nation of Israel, and anybody else with a right spirit can come into them. But those oracles and all that was given to the Israelites to deal with it, to deal with their creator.
Right.
But other people can come into them. That's what he mean by stranger. The stranger can come in. Stranger can come in and operate on it. That's what, when I showed you, Abraham received all those giants.
Right.
So those giants became circumcised. Right? And then we found out that some of them same giants ended up, 33 of them was with David. Right. So nobody don't understand that part of it, because they don't understand that part of it because those giants, why the Most High was so hard on David, because David misused the giants. When the Most High changed their countenance, he changed their spirit and had them subject to David. Then David turned around and slept with Uriah's wife.
Yeah, okay. The giant.
That's why he's receiving the punishment he was receiving, because the Most High did the most for him. Just like those David wanted some water. He longed for a glass of water from some spring.
Yes.
In Israel. So these giants had to go kill 200,000-300,000 people just to go get that water for him. And then when they came back with it, he pulled it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's why he was getting it. And then, like I said, what Samuel told him. But they ain't understanding the severity of that happened. So he said that you got, I gave you all kind of wives. I choked Nabal to death. and gave you Abigail, and you got all these women all over the place. Now you all over here with one man got one little bitty woman, and you went over there and got her.
Right.
See, David dropped. He dropped to the ground right there because he knew he was talking about him.
Right. Now, Leonard, you said something interesting. Now, you said that the Most High changed the countenance of the giants, and I'm kind of hanging on that, because now I'm thinking about when Uriah came back from battle, and David tried to get him to go sleep with his wife, and Uriah said, "How can I go and sleep with my wife when my brothers, the other warriors, are still in battle?" So that right there, kind of helps me to know that, yeah, the Most High must have changed their countenance, because that's all they wanted to do was come down and sleep with women.
Right. So you got to go back and look at that. Uriah said, "My Lord."
Mm-hmm.
David. Imagine that. Imagine that. This is a giant now.
Right.
And he called. They won't even call Yahweh Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Uriah said, "My Lord, David." Most High put a spirit on him. He's subject to David.
Wow.
Can I go with my wife when my Lord is out in the field?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And that should have triggered David right there. He should have felt bad right there.
Yeah, but he had already went all the way to the left. He had already went to the left.
Okay.
So then he was trying to cover it up. He was already in too deep.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Only thing turning was when Nathan came and told him about the story about the man with all the lambs and the man with one lamb.
Yes.
Right. So let me show you this here before we gotta get out the line. We passed 2 hours. So if you go to Genesis chapter 14, right quick.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Genesis 14.
We talked about this before, but I'm in Genesis chapter 14, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
It came to pass in the days of Armathal, king of Shinar, Oreb, king of Elsar, and Chadamiah, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of the nations, that these made war with Barak, king of Sodom. So all these giants. Verse 3, all these were joined together at the Vale of Zidon, which is in the South Sea, these giants, right? So there's a war going on. There's a big old war between the giants that was going on because it was giants all over the land of Canaan.
Okay.
Right? So what's the war about? The circumcised ones and the uncircumcised.
Really?
Yeah, that's what this is about. See,
wow.
the ones that was uncircumcised, they that was a sign of the Creator. They don't want to deal with him. So
yes.
they said these other ones was you misfits, y'all, you garbage. You ain't nothing. You really got circumcised. What that was all about.
Wow.
You go over here to 15, verse 18, chapter 15, verse 18. Is it 15, 18? In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land from the river Euphrates, from the river of Egypt unto the great river Euphrates. Then the Kenites, see all these giants he gave them to Abraham. That's the seven nations. That's the seven nations right there. Them all giants.
That was in the land of Canaan.
In the land of Canaan. They was given the land. The giants came with the land. They was given to Abraham.
Right.
Then Abraham came over and circumcised it. See the covenant in 17. In 17?
Chapter 17?
Right.
Yes.
Verse 1, and when Abraham was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared unto Abraham, said unto him, I am the Almighty God, walk before me, be thou perfect, and I will make a covenant between me and thee, and multiply thee exceedingly. And Abraham fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name anymore be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee, and I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make a nation of thee, and kings shall come out of thee, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee, thy seed after thee, and thy generation, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, and thy seed after thee, and I will give unto thee and thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, and a land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generation. This is my covenant, which I shall keep between me and you, and thy seed after thee. Every man child among ye shall be circumcised. You shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be for a token of a covenant betwixt me and you. He that is 8 days old, look at this. This out of his loins, out of Abraham's loins. He that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you. Every man child in every generation, he that is born in thy house, or bought with money, or any stranger, which is not of thy seed. So that's the giants, all of them that fell. Abraham was circumcised. That's where drama came. Those other giants had a problem with the one they had got circumcised.
Right. Okay. Wow. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So let's. Anybody got anything else before we go? Okay. Let me get this right quick. I hope somebody got something out of this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Come on, Judah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for the Sabbath class.
Okay. Shalom.